barrier. I've been trying to recruit people, although I will say I think I have too many people at this point. There are probably about 20 uh, people that have been kind of coming through. There's maybe, I'm going to say, 8 to 10 people that are sort of regulars, and everyone else comes in and out. However, if it becomes regular over 10, um, I'm going to have to find someone else uh, to do one concurrently, specifically because Google Hangouts only handles 10 people at a time. So that's all I can do. So, but hey, I'd rather have too many people than not enough. So nice to meet you. My name's Will. Usually people show up here in just a little bit now. Have you seen any of the stuff that's online?
Yes, I watched Monday's thing just a couple hours ago.
Okay. Yeah, Tuesdays actually I think was better. Probably was one of our best sessions, although it starts a little bit strange. There was a woman that actually can't remember Jazz something like that. She was actually driving in her car while she was talking to us, which I thought was unique. Well, let's just go ahead and dive into it. So where are you in the code?
I am not very far, to be very honest.
Okay.
I did watch, Mondays, so I kind of understand what's going on there. And um, I barely have the topology done. You know, so
Okay.
I
So there's a lot of work ahead. So let's jump in. I definitely have the feeling of all for one and one for all, especially us online people. No one's watching out for us. Nobody. So
no,
I feel like we need to watch out for each other. Okay,
yeah,
um, so I would go ahead and skip verify latency and verify bandwidth now,
yeah,
because those are kind of like those are sort of the cream of the crop, or maybe I should say the icing on the cake.
okay,
So I would put those last because you can get your graph even without having those done. So,
okay,
and actually, I posted my code for verify latency. Um, and so if you do a search for verify latency, you'll find my code, and it gives it in full.
Is
'Cause
that the? I think I actually watched that. And that sort of made sense to me.
yeah, there was someone that was not happy that I posted my code. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
These things happen.
Yeah, let me just start there because I just a couple hours ago I spent an hour reading or watching you guys talk about it. So,
Right.
oh no, then I was thinking about the start receiver and start senders.
Ah,
So,
okay. Yeah, that's the big one.
yeah,
So
okay,
yeah, start senders and start receiver. Hey Joe, how are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Joe John is just joining us tonight. We're gonna have to get him up to speed here.
Okay.
Hey, I actually got my code to loop earlier today. I'm a happy man. I think I may be in the home stretch.
Nice. Did it exit the loop?
It exited the loop. I haven't
Nice.
actually looked at the results because it just happened a little while ago, and I was almost afraid to look at the results. But it got to loop, so that's a whole hell of a lot further than I was yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay, so John actually just he's only finished the topology, so I figured what I was going to do is give him an overview of some of my code for the start senders and start receivers. So, and actually, I'd like you to take a look at my start receivers. Um, I'm sorry, start senders, specifically because I had something weird that I put a crazy fix in and it worked, but I think it's because I misunderstand how range works.
Okay.
So, John, can you see my desktop?
no, I see. Oh, now I do.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Okay,
let me.
Okay, is this legible? Can you actually see this now?
Uh, it. This is just my own personal opinion, but it might be better if you shared just the screen with your code.
Yeah, okay. Let me shift then. Howdy, Cheryl. How are you? Ah, it's the silent Cheryl. Oh, wait. Do we got her today? Unfortunately not. Okay, so let me try sharing that again. Uh, hmm. Oh, I see. It needs to be not its own. Okay. Try one more time. I think I just took a picture. Wow, there's a whole bunch of things here, but not the window that I'm looking for. So you actually, when you're, because you have a Mac, right, Joe?
Yes, I do.
And so when you use Xcode, it shows up as one of the windows on the screen share?
I actually don't use Xcode. I use a Text Wrangler. But yeah, Text Wrangler shows up.
Oh, come on. Wow, Xcode does not. That's interesting. Well, this is,
you can just,
yeah, this is the
you
best I
zoom
can
in as
do.
much as possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you guys can't see it, I think I can probably shift to another editor. But let me know. So let me open it here. Okay, how much of this can you actually see, John? Can you make it out?
Okay.
I'm going to see if I can increase my font for font bigger. Seriously? Format, font. That's it, just bigger. And it doesn't really seem to do a damn thing. Okay, can you actually see it or no?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. So the code, like I said, the code for, and by the way, if you have any questions, if there's anything that you're not sure of, please ask. Like I said, we're all in this together. So verify latency and verify bandwidth, I'd suggest do those at the end. Start receivers right down here is nice and easy. They basically give you the code with this part, with that hint that they give right down here. But the most important thing is that you have to do this get node by name. Are you familiar with that?
Was that the thing about the file name? Or...
No. Okay, so Joe, I believe it was.
Wait, I think I understand. So this is where we're running it. We're running it from host 3, the server, that machine.
So almost the way that I understand it, and please correct me if I'm wrong there, Joe. The way I understand it is that in order to do the test, you start one receiver, and the receiver is going to be the C host, and then from A and B, and C is the bottleneck host, and then meaning that it has the slowest bandwidth of all three of the lines, and then you basically bombard C from hosts A and B. So the start receiver, that starts C. So that's the bottleneck one. You with me?
Yeah.
So basically what I'm doing here with this command, the net.getNodeByName, that basically is, it passes me an object that is the host type that I can send a command. So this very first thing here is me just saying, hey, I named something in my topology called H3. Give me that object, so that then here I can run a command on that object. You with me?
Makes sense to me.
Okay, so this dot command right here, this basically is me sending a command as if I were on the command line for that host. And this actually starts the receiver. Now, are you familiar with this %s, this nomenclature here that I have highlighted?
Sorry, I muted myself. Yeah, that makes sense. We're just passing in the variables.
Okay, great. Okay, so really, if you were to look at custom iperf path, this actually is the command iperf with these functions, or these arguments. No, what's that? Switches? Is that what it's called, Joe? The dash s dot dash p options?
The ETH3, that one?
No, the
Minus S.
yeah, the like when you do
right.
if config or if config dash a is what the hell is the dash a called?
Oh, I forget what the arguments are.
Okay.
Let me look them up. I have mainnet open.
Okay, so start receivers is nice and easy. Start senders, a little bit more difficult, but not too much. And actually this is where I want Joe's input, because he worked through this yesterday, and I just completed it, so I may have an error in here. But it's the same thing. I have to get all the names of my hosts. But this is that loop that everyone's been talking about here. That loop through the 200, where you just where the senders are just sending and sending and sending.
I have a question on that.
Talk to me.
So are those target files ever used? I like that idea of saving it to def null.
You know, I believe so. The way that I read the code is that like this runs it and it puts it all into output files, but then the code further on that someone else has written, that actually parses through those output files for specific information. I don't know that it uses this one, but there is a let's see, hang on, let me make this smaller. There is code. Let's see one of these in here. In test. There's this one, crap. iperf server dot, no? Maybe it's result.txt?
It's result.txt.
Ah, okay. Let's see. And so this actually is parsed for information. I haven't looked at my result.txt. I'm almost scared of seeing what's going to pop up here. That probably looks bad. But it actually parses through that file. And so as far as this is concerned, I just named these whatever. Did you actually use any sort of naming convention there, Joe, for the output file?
I use no naming convention at all.
Okay. Okay, so I have a question for you, Joe. So what I was seeing was there's this error that's all over the boards about a switch not being found, and the solution basically was people saying to not divide by 2 for the loop, because they thought you had to do some and send them in 2 different iterations, but basically just to do it all at once. And what I found is that if I ran this just from 1 to loops, that I was always 2 connections shy when I actually got into those while loops in do sweep.
Right.
And so I fixed it with this, which is a total.
Wait.
I totally cheated. But I don't
So,
know. I don't know why this works.
So does it say range from 1 to loops minus 1?
No, it's loops plus 1.
Loops plus 1. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because I was always too shy, and I finally thought, well, let me do it one more iteration, and sure enough, it worked.
Yeah. So basically, you were actually 1 shy, except for each host goes through the loop, and there's 2 sender hosts, making it 2 shy.
Yes.
And that range function in Python is not inclusive. So I forget what it is, but either the 1 or the loops doesn't get included in the range. So you're iterating 1 less times than you need to, which shows you missing 2 flows because you go through the loop for each sender.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So if I went from 0 to loops, then that
You
should.
should get the same answer. Yep.
Okay. Okay.
And that's actually what I did. I started from 0.
Okay. Okay. So you with me, John?
Yep.
Okay. So now the next piece of code is do sweep. And now this is where I started to have problems. So you're going to see all kinds of code like this in there because I was trying to troubleshoot to figure out what was going on. And so this very first section here, and this is where I was failing, what was happening was that please ignore my dogs. You know, someone's at my door. If you'll excuse me for just a moment.
Sure. John, do you mind if I share my screen in the meantime and we can start talking through the do sweep?
Yeah, let me relinquish mine there.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Oh, it looks like you got it.
Is it just my computer being glitchy, or do you see an upside down version of my screen?
It's right side up for me.
Oh, wow. My own view of Google Hangouts shows it completely upside down. That's pretty funny. So you see the do sweep method right here?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically the main part of this function that we have to, or the main bulk of this function are 2 while loops. And so just to remind us of the scope of this assignment, we're supposed to emulate a situation where you have a bottleneck link, namely a switch in between host A and B and the receiver C, and our goal is to first populate that link with traffic so that it becomes heavily utilized, and then test the buffering ability of the switch and see what happens with relation to queue size and a couple of other metrics. So the first while loop is getting traffic on that link, on the link from the switch to host C. It's populating the link with traffic so that we have an accurate starting point. Does that make sense? / do you guys agree that that's a fair explanation?
Yep.
I think so.
Okay. Now, if I remember correctly, we didn't have to add any code to this first loop, correct?
No.
So one issue that a lot of people, including myself, have been getting into trouble with is that when we test this, the queue size, the rates that we're getting are too low. And if the rates are too low, how low, namely if they're lower than the network bandwidth times whatever this fraction specified at the beginning of the code is, you'll remain in this loop constantly. So you'll keep getting queue sizes, you'll keep getting these max, min, and standard deviation metrics, except your code won't do anything beyond that. So kind of a one-time hack that a lot of people do that I'm not sure it'll give us the right results in the assignment, but it'll get us to the next loop, is they take this bandwidth fraction up top, which was originally 0.9, and they make it a ridiculously low number in order to make it work. Except for, I think that this number is part of the explanation in terms of how congested, how populated you want the link from the switch to host C to be. And if you start it that low, then it's not really a link with a lot of traffic on it, and it's not really within the scope of the assignment, I think.
It's very interesting.
That is definitely a an answer that says, I have no idea what you are talking about.
Me or?
I mean, I barely have any idea what I'm talking about, so that's fair.
Oh, I like that. Very interesting. So let's take a look. Oh no, can't hear you, Cheryl, unfortunately. So,
Cheryl, if you have any suggestions on how to make this assignment work, feel free to type it in the chat, though.
yeah. So, well, I guess that gives you a little, at least the next two steps. Did you actually talk about the search?
No, not yet, because that would be in the second while loop.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead, please.
Okay. Cheryl, you said when you say bandwidth to 0.5, you mean this start underscore VW underscore fraction? Is that what you're talking about? Okay, cool. And did you? I remember. I believe it was post 220 in the forums. People toyed around with the idea of adding a delay in this part of the code that was not originally there. Has anybody tried adding this specific line with a delay of, I guess, a quarter of the specified round trip time in the assignment?
No. I may have breezed past that. Tell me about that.
Basically, I think people were getting too low queue sizes and added a delay to make the queue size when they were testing bigger. And this seemed to work for some people. It hasn't worked for me yet. But one of my questions is, conceptually, I get that this is 1/4 of the expected round trip time, but it looks like this is the buffer size between the switch and host C, and I guess I'm wondering why that would necessarily be 1/4, or I guess it makes sense. A to the switch is 43, or A to the switch is 21.75. The switch to C is 21.75, and then when you go through the reverse path and complete the round trip, it's also going to be 21.75 each way. So this is what the one-way latency should be between the switch and host C, so that link effectively.
And that's all they did. It was just change that to 21.75?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not sure what else will be required to get this to work, because mine is not working right now, even with this set. So there's obviously a bigger story behind that. But I believe that was in post 220 on the forums.
Okay. Oh, that's right. We were talking about that last night.
Yeah.
And and you actually hard-coded it in.
Yes.
Oh, wait a second. Oh, okay. Wow, even with the milliseconds, the ms, I'm surprised they use that as a string and not a just an init or a float. Huh. Let's see. I'm gonna add that to my code. Maybe it'll prevent me from hitting a wall later on.
Yeah, or at least put it in a comment so that you have stuff to draw upon if you're debugging later.
Well, now, don't you need to get rid of that queue? Well, wait a second. Yeah, isn't there? Going back and forth between screens here. Oh, so that's a completely different. I thought you replaced the %s, but you
No,
actually.
no.
Oh, okay.
You just add a 21.
Okay.
0.75 millisecond delay.
Okay, I see.
So I think since a lot of people are having low queue sizes, I'm not sure if you have, Will, but I think it might be worth it just to go over the topology so that we have a general idea of how everything's set up. Because if the only way that we can get this working is to lower this BW dot underscore fraction, maybe there might be something inherent in our topology that we can change to raise the numbers a bit. I don't know. I'm just trying to think aloud. If anybody else has any thoughts.
Well, let me ask this, because I actually haven't yet looked at my graphs. Like I said, I got it to iterate today, and I think I got it to iterate with a 0.3 bandwidth fraction, although that wasn't the problem. The problem was that loop or the range issue that I showed you earlier.
Right.
So when you actually, what are you seeing that actually shows you that it worked? Like what file was the one that we looked at last night that was populated?
It was a couple of graphs. Basically, I launched the Python web server, and a new folder with a timestamp came up every time I ran it, and it had a couple of graphs. So the whole experiment in full, from talking to people, takes about 2 hours to run, but a couple of graphs are populated within about 5 minutes. So it's indicative of whether you've made it through the loops, whether your experiments on the right trajectory to work.
Oh, and that's the 2 hours is with n equals what?
The 2 hours is running the sweep file, which tests a bunch of varieties of n. I think n equals 2, 5, 100, 150, 200.
Oh, okay.
And that's where you get the result graph, which shows that as n changes, what happens to the buffer size.
Ah, okay. So that's actually running the shell script, the buffer size sweep?
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I have not yet touched that one.
Yeah, so just by running buffer sizing, you won't get any graphs.
Oh, I see. Well,
I believe so.
So then if you actually get all the way through the code, then that's the time to start running the buffer sizing sweep shell to see if that's...
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I think I'm going to do that as we're talking.
Nice.
Let's see. So now, John, what are you using to actually edit your code?
Now I'm using a clip. I haven't connected it to my main machine yet, so I'm using Nano on the Mininet.
Ah, okay.
That's a really good question. Are you guys sharing drives or FTPing? How are you exporting X?
Well, you know, the method that Joe and I use, like every single person that we've, well, I guess there's two trains of thought. I think Joe and I like the color-coded, nice easy to manage files that are on our host computer. And then we use a command called SCP, which I think is a secure copy, to actually push all of the files or that entire directory into our Mininet computer. In fact,
Interesting.
yeah, and for me that works the best. But there's a gentleman that joins us from time to time. His name is Mike. He's very good at this, and he uses Emacs exclusively. But he's so good at Emacs that he flies through it. For me, Emacs is an absolute chore. Are you familiar with Emacs?
Yeah, 15 years ago. I wrote
Yeah,
it.
right. Yes. Yeah, I feel the same way.
I'm a Sublime user, so if I could get into Sublime, I'd be thrilled.
Well, I think you can use anything you want. In fact, that's one of the discussions that I've seen that started to pick up on the forums is people are starting to say, hey, what IDE are you using? And I can say, if you're not familiar with Python, man, having an IDE really helps. And one of the biggest issues that I had early on was combating the indentation. And now I see that the GUI gives me everything I need to know about that indentation. Whereas Emacs, it kind of leaves you on your own. So I'm going to post the...
That's over SSH. Okay.
w-
SCP.
yes, yeah, in fact, I'm posting it. This is the command that I use here. And the SCP, so that's secure copy, the option or whatever that -R is, means it's recursive. That initial period means whatever directory I happen to be in, so that means I need to run this. Uh-oh. Looks like we lost John. Are you still there, John?
I'm here.
Okay. Huh. I wonder what happened to Joe. Anyway, so that -R means it's recursive. The dot means that you need to run it when you're actually in the folder on your host computer that you want to ship it up to. So that's the to, and the from, or correction, that's the from is the period, and the to is the mininet at the IP address, colon, and then the where assignment 3 is. So I actually run this in the folder, my assignment 3 folder on my host computer, and that grabs everything and ships it up. In fact, you know, the way that I kind of go back and forth here is, and I take it you're on a Windows machine?
I'm a Mac.
Oh, okay, great. So, so I do all my coding in Xcode, which I have to say, Joe, this looks identical to whatever you're using. What is it that you're using? I guess we've lost Joe. Joe, you out there?
Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I am using Text Strangler.
Is that something that, because it looks identical to, because I'm actually, you can see I'm within Xcode here. Huh.
Yeah, it does have a pretty similar interface.
Okay, well I'll have to grab that because this is nice, but it's a little overkill. It's using a hammer for a thumbtack.
Yeah.
So I code here, and then I have two windows that are with, this program is called iTerm, or the Xterminal, same thing. And this one here is my bash. This is where I'm actually bringing up the SCP to run it. Or correction, to ship that stuff over to Mininet. And then this one is where I actually do the, I run the tests.
What is that program you're running now?
This is called iTerm. Yeah, but But the terminal program in the Mac, actually, you have the ability to create tabs in that. I don't know. Some people had recommended this. I don't know that there's any tremendous advantage of this over others, but maybe I just haven't seen it yet.
That's cool. That SCP command, that sounds like something that would change my life here.
Yes. Well, it's nice to be able to get everything onto the computer, if for no other reason. But I think that people like Joe, didn't you have a problem where your Mininet computer wouldn't even come up?
No.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I did have one issue where I had to like keep restarting my virtual machine and my physical computer to get it to finally work. I had a couple of VM problems.
Yeah, there was someone, maybe it was John Stroud, I can't remember it, but there was someone that actually had to redo their code from scratch because their mini computer stopped working and they couldn't boot it anymore, and so they lost.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, that's another reason to have it on your computer. Although, Joe, you brought up something really good last night, and I tried to recreate it, and I couldn't. So I started an account on GitHub because I wanted to have a repository. But the other thing is I wanted to be able to pull down the edits that had been made on the code because mine was really grossly out of date.
It was? Okay.
Oh yeah, like that whole, I had all the -n stuff in there. I mean, I had one of the first versions. How could you show me how you use your GitHub to get those updates? Because I'm afraid that I'm going to write over my code the next time I grab an update.
So yeah, sure. So I didn't actually like pull the GitHub code from terminal. All I did was here. I'll show you. All I did was look on the actual GitHub website and click a button to show where exactly. Let's see. Can you guys see my GitHub now?
Yep. Yes.
Can you guys hear me and see my GitHub?
I can see it.
Okay. So basically, so can you guys still hear me okay?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so basically, like, it says that this buffer sizing sweep code was edited 3 days ago to remove the -n. And if I wanted to see what was there, I click on it, and you can see in the most recent commit what was added and what was removed. So in this case, -n3 was removed. And there were so few of these edits that I could just manually look at this for a couple of the files which had changes. So
Okay, so you just did it. You just
says
did it manually then.
this was edited 9 days ago, and this was edited 3 days ago. So just by clicking on the files, you can view the history here, and it'll show you the chain of what exactly has happened.
So you just edited everything by hand.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. I thought there was a way to sort of pull those in separately, kind of bring those into your code with a click, so to speak, but I guess not.
Not without overwriting your own code.
Yeah.
You have to do a git merge.
Oh yeah, that's true.
What's a git merge?
It would sort of interlace your code with their code, and then you'd have to edit it manually.
Ah, okay. And that's done through. I saw that there was a program that you could download for GitHub. Is that what you use, or have you used it?
I've used a visual or GUI GitHub on PC, but I actually have been lately using GitHub on the command line. And when you do that merge type thing, it just generates a new text file that you open up in your text editor.
Okay. Well, I am downloading Text Wrangler as we speak. Okay, so where are you at, Joe?
So I am trying to figure out, I guess, how to basically get higher rates so that, because right now, without lowering the bandwidth fraction, my code stays in an infinite. So I'm trying to figure out where within my code I can change it to make it work. Because my queue sizes now are probably as low as like 2 to 10 milliseconds.
I was just curious if anyone's found that the slower computers have to change those numbers more and stuff.
That seemed to be what the TAs indicated on the forums. I think they sent something out today or yesterday specifically about people that don't have computers that are running at 1,000,000 miles an hour, that they would grade those accordingly. So I apparently, yes. In fact, let me see if I can find that on the forum.
Hey Joe, are you able to get all your connections?
Yes, I was.
You're just not getting the right queue size? Is that right?
Correct. So, in particular, the do sweep method is comprised of 2 separate loops. I can't figure out an efficient way to exit the first loop.
Can you show?
Yeah, sure. So, this loop here, I'm not exiting easily unless I drastically lower this number here.
I don't see anything.
Oh, you don't see it? Okay. Let me try sharing. Better?
Oh, there we go.
So unless I drastically lower this number here, I can't get out of this loop.
So you're not even getting out of the calibration step.
Correct.
Huh. And how are you creating your typology?
So I can scroll up to that.
What's that loss piece?
Oh.
And you're not setting your max Q up here?
No, I forget the explanation, but I believe that Venkatesh was saying that the max queue size is only relevant for the bottleneck link. So in other words, from the switch to the receiver C. So I have redefined link config again a second time after the links from A and B to the switch are added, and I've put max Q here.
Oh, interesting.
What is the max Q again when in the third homework assignment where it tells us to run it? What is the specification in the or is there any specification in the command?
I'm not sure. I'm just reading the to-do. To-do, fill in the following function, create the topology, set appropriate values for bandwidth, delay, and queue size. So for my queue size, I've set everything not to args.maxq, but to self.maxq. I also set, that's the same queue size that I put for both the sender and the receivers.
Okay. And were you able to get decent queue sizes when you were okay.
Now, is this the function that's called many times? You know, you follow what I mean? Is this called by the sweep function?
No, this is just setting up the network.
No, do you remember when we were talking over start senders? That's in your code. That's the one that that you are actually creating a loop. There are loops that happen. There are while loops that happen in the do sweep function, but those are already done. You don't have to mess with those. But for the start senders, you have to send to from computer A to computer C, and then send from computer B to computer C, and then loop through that the n flows, the self.n flows argument or parameter.
Right. What host config, link config, and then you're redefining link config?
Yeah, so after I made the change now, this is effectively redundant, but previously when I had it, I was having a separate link specification from C to the switch, I believe.
Okay.
Well, run that crap. Let's see what it does.
Yep, I'm running it now, way ahead of you.
Well, actually, I'm curious to see what it looks like, specifically to know if there's anything that I should be expecting. Because John, you'll be happy to know I actually got my code all the way through. I haven't yet run buffer sizing -sweep, but I got buffer sizing to run all the way through. So tonight might be the night.
When so the entire buffer sizing piece, at least for me, it might have taken 4 or 5 minutes.
Well, I think he has just an n equals 4.
For this particular one, yeah. Let's see.
Unsupported operand for list and float. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know that I've seen that one before.
It's probably in your loop, in your binary search.
I will go back. Okay, so is it saying that this is showing up as a string rather than a number?
C rates is K rates.
K rates.
Can I not use reference rate since it's defined in the previous loop?
No, you can. I mean, that's what I did, and that's also what Steve Martin did.
So that rates there is a list. So you're dividing a list by a float.
Okay.
So you need to get the median of the rates, and then divide it by the reference rate.
Okay.
Well, you already have the median of the rates in rate, right?
Oh yeah.
So just
Oh, yeah.
rate divided by reference rate.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Now, reference rate, that is your reference
also
rate.
the-
That's the inputted rate, right? The 62.5 or whatever.
Yeah, I think isn't reference rate the median of rates? Like as
Yeah,
defined.
when they run through the calibration, it's the median.
But
So-
your utilization rate is the utilization of the entire queue. Right? So I took this as what you should be dividing over is the median of your rate, and you're dividing that by the total size of the queue to see your utilization of that queue.
I don't think so. I think they're asking.
So that whole loop up top, right? I consider that to be nothing more than prepping the flows, right? So before we got to this part here, there's really no data being sent at this amount. So what this is doing is that it's just kind of getting the pipes kind of like lubricated for you.
Yeah, and basically generating traffic on that bottleneck link, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, actually, it looks like you're not passing enough arguments into get rates. I mean, if you look at the get rates above, they're passing in two arguments: iFace and n samples.
No, this here that's correct. So what's happening here, the 3 lines above it, where you're doing this set queue. So what set queue is actually doing is it's actually setting the size of the queue on this interface, and then what you want to do is get the list of rates over that interface, right, for the
Right.
queue size that we've set already. So when get rates returns, it's going to be an entire list of a whole bunch of rates for each of the individual n flows across the links. So then the next line where you're pulling out the median, this is basically saying give me the middle value because I have to do math, and in order to do math I can't do it on the list, I have to do it on one number. Right? Okay is simply doing, division. So this is basically just it's just doing a comparison. So this is just saying if a number that's being inputted is greater than the 0.98. And so it was always my understanding that what we're looking at is actually the full queue size. If you get utilization above 98% of the full queue.
No, I think that percentage is comparing the flow rate based on the queue size. So they want the flow to be 98% utilized,
Right.
while your queue size is n. Right, we're changing the queue size, and then we keep getting the rates, and we want to see if we're fully utilized. If not, we want to zero in on the optimal queue size by using the binary. Right, so when we say okay, we're asking if that rate utilization is okay.
Right.
So is the function okay just checking if whatever the argument it is greater than 0.98?
Go check OK.
Correct. That's correct.
It's pretty simple, yeah.
Okay.
Now, if reference rate is actually the median of the actual rates that are being pushed through, right? That number should be less than the total amount, right? Because the actual is always it'll never, it should theoretically never go above 100% of the size, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's actually a harder chance to hit it if you target the total queue size. I'm saying the wrong words, aren't I? It's the
Yeah, no, I see your point. Yeah, using the what is it? The bandwidth.net or whatever that is, bandwidth_net.
There you go. That's right.
Yeah. I think you're right on that.
Wait, can you try to?
Yeah, let's
explain that again?
dumb it down for the rest of the audience here. Okay.
All right. So basically, your fraction, right, within the OK. I believe this should just be your rate, which is the median of the rates of the Q size that you've set, which is what you have here, which is appropriate, divided by the actual net, the bandwidth dot, the args.bw_net.
Yeah. I tried it both ways, and I didn't get any difference.
But I mean, there's that. Take aggregate throughput and divide by the median of the rates above.
That's my own comment that I added.
Gosh darn it.
One other thing. Max Q mid -1 and min Q mid +1. Why are we adding and subtracting?
Because so if it's greater than the utilization rate, you want to lower the mid, right? Because you want to find the lowest value such that it's 98% utilized.
Well, when you're doing a binary search, right? If
Right.
it's okay, right? We're setting the max to if we're doing a binary search, think of it as a window between min and max. Right? And the idea is that each time you go through the search, you're cutting that window in half. And so each time you cut the window in half, you're narrowing that window, right? And that window is shifting around within the frame of the original window, right? So this window that's like getting smaller and smaller is shifting up and down, up and down, up and down. And basically it's narrowing into focus on 1 to 2 numbers, right? So each time that you get, whether or not OK is true or false, you know more than you did prior to the loop, right? You know a little bit more. You know it's either, to the left or to the right of the center point of the new window. Right? So subtracting 1 and adding 1 is actually, it's not actually needed. Because every time that you set max or min to the mid, you're actually shrinking that window. And then you simply target the middle again.
Okay.
So, I mean, theoretically, by changing that mid value, you could potentially, I don't know what the chances of this, but you could potentially close the window and bypass your actual number.
Okay. That makes sense, because you just want to reduce what you're testing by half each time, right? Okay.
Now, this is the end of your of the entire do sweep, right?
Yes.
Hey, let me make sure that I understand this part, because I think I'm having a gross conceptual error here. Could you go scroll up a little bit to the first while loop? The one just above this, yeah. Okay. Okay, so the while loop, the dot bandwidth_net, that's host C, that's the bottleneck one. And we are going to keep this going in the loop while we're underneath that fraction.
Right.
So the next one, rates, so the get rates, that looks at the interface on host C and gets the bandwidth in megabits per minute. Yes? Using
Well, that iFace is really the switch.
Yeah, it's the switch.
Okay.
So I think it's somewhere it says it's defined there. Sweep. somewhere it says iFace equals
Down in Maine, I think it is. If you go down to Maine where it calls do sweep,
here it is. Yeah. So it's defined as a switch here.
Ah, okay. Okay, and that's actual port on the switch, right? That's what that E3 means. That's the port on switch S1.
That I do not know.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's
S1
continue.
and TH3.
Yeah.
TH3, that's the third node that's created
Right.
Oh,
on
so
switch 1.
Yeah. So
the,
I took that to be the port on the switch.
I think it's just a way they represent the link
Okay.
between the link coming out of S1 going to the host C.
Okay.
Right, host C.
Yeah. And I think they represent the link going from the switch to A as, well, it depends on the order in which you add it.
Right.
It's S1-ETH1, S1-ETH2.
Okay. So I get my rate, and it should be something less than 62.5, and then I get the median of that. So let's say it's, comes out to 50. There's a couple that are really low and some that are in the middle. Actually, let's say it comes out to 60. That's reference rate. So RU max is okay, so that gets the max value, the standard deviation, prints it out, sure, okay. So now you're looking at, the min Q and max Q, that's the 2 packet granularity we're looking for. Screen just got fuzzy.
Yeah, the upper and lower values of your window that you're trying to,
Okay.
your Q size, of your buffer size that you're trying to narrow in.
Right.
Oh, you're in the second while now, right?
Yes, yeah. So we finished with the first.
This is actually your exit clause. That's actually your exit clause from your binary search. So you remember the window analogy? So the point is that when the absolute value of the minimum minus the maximum is greater than or equal to 2, I mean, what we're talking about is you're not at a focused point. So when
Right.
this statement is false, you're basically, your min and your max are off by 1 or maybe 2. So in other words, you've cut this window in half so many times that you're at such a small value that that's your Q size.
Okay, that makes sense because they talked about a granularity of 2 packets, so I think that's where that comes from. Now it looks like the first while loop there, like you're going to go flying through that. There's no reason why that should ever fail, because by definition, your BW_net is going to be 62.5. You're taking a fraction of that. So your median of that, which is the reference rate, is always going to be less than that. I mean, unless there's something completely screwed up. Yes?
Yeah, which is why I probably had something completely screwed up.
Right, in the actual topology. Okay, so that makes sense.
Correct.
So now, set Q. I can't remember what that does. That
So
just
set Q is actually, on this interface, it's actually setting the size of the queue that we're going to use.
okay.
So in other words, so the value that we're trying to analyze within each of these loops is actually the effect of the size of the queue on the switch, right? So by calling set Q on this interface, you're setting the queue size to be whatever the value of mid is right now.
Okay. Okay, so that makes sense. So now with this new queue size, you run get rates again on the interface, on the switch, on the port, and then you get the median of that.
Yes.
Okay, so now, and this is the cake, rate divided by args.bwnet. Okay, so you took the median.
So you're having the median rate and dividing it by the total bandwidth. And you want to find the smallest queue size such that the bandwidth is utilized enough.
Ah, okay. I see. Yep. So then John's right. That needs to be args.bw_net. Because that is the available bandwidth. Okay, I understand.
So, why else is this not working?
I don't know. It is.
I'll tell you what. So I had to rewrite this code, I think, 5 times in total because of all those problems with the VMs. So I can pretty much rewrite this entire thing in my sleep now, which is kind of nice. But what I did find out is that to do the entire project for this, it's really not that many lines of code.
Right.
Right. So John, did you get good numbers for your queues?
I think I did.
Did it followed the RTT times C divided by the square root of n? Follow that curve, that logarithmic looking curve?
It fell underneath that curve.
But I mean pattern-wise,
Yeah, pretty much matches
it
up.
started high, then went down.
Mm-hmm.
So can I ask you about because I'm having problems with all of my numbers. The VM that you got, what were the settings? I think I have something wrong with the settings on my VM. Because it doesn't matter what I do, I've tried tons of stuff to get messed with rates, and I'm always getting the same.
I didn't change anything. So I got so fed up with the VMs that I was waiting for them to just fix it and then get it and then put it here. I had a problem in the beginning where I couldn't get the 64-bit VMs to run because of the BIOS setting.
Mm-hmm.
But aside from that, the newest VM that Josh had posted, that one I just took out of the box and it just ran. I didn't even have to set the network adapters because they had already done that as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so I installed that one.
And where's the
I
link?
then followed assignment 2 to get the packages in, and then I just went step by step through assignment 3.
Right,
Again,
right.
like the thing
Right.
put together.
Well, I kind of did similar things. I went through several VMs, but I'm not even sure I got the right one. I don't know. I had that 64-bit one, but I don't know if it's the latest one. But I mean, I'm suspecting there's something wrong with my VM, and that's why my numbers are off.
Is it called Mininet-VN-Pyretic?
I think I got that one before, but then that's one of the ones I got, but that's not the one I'm using.
Well, there were a couple. There was a post the other day with a new VM, and someone, I think it was you, John, recommended. Oh no, maybe it was Michael. They recommended doing a uname-a to actually see if it is the latest. So you can query. I'll find the post.
I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, it's post 218. And there's a guy, Mike Schomburger. He's that really smart guy in Finland. And he recommends doing that uname-a to find out what VM you actually have.
Huh.
Okay, what post is that?
218. And you have to scroll down. It's not the top.
Let me see what I'm using.
So how do you find a 218? You just put it in there.
I think if you, if you do a search for uname, the letter U.
Find it, if you just click on any of them, and then if you look up at the URL, it's CID equals, just type in 218
okay.
instead of the number.
Oh, that's a much better way of doing it.
No kidding.
Wow, you just made my productivity go up by like 2%.
Uname-a, huh?
Yep, and that'll tell you what version of Pyretic you have. Because I did the whole download and whatnot yesterday to make sure I had the latest and greatest after I realized that my my code was severely outdated. I thought, okay, let's start from scratch and get this right. Since it seems that we're kind of converging on a Mininet image.
When I saw this post, the first thing that I did was that I just, on every computer that I installed this, I deleted everything.
Yeah, that's what I did.
I'm sorry, I don't understand why.
Why I deleted everything?
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to have to deal with which version
Ugh.
am I using right now.
Yes.
From one of them, I was actually able to save a piece of my source code, and so I took that just as a text file and just dumped it onto my desktop. And then after that, I just deleted everything that was remotely close to Mininet or Pyretic or any of these things.
Right. Okay, so Joe, can you run the code?
Yes, I am running it now. Let me show you guys.
This is definitely the part I'm interested in. I want to know if I'm getting something that makes sense. So now when you run it, you're just running the buffer sizing dash sweep?
Well, this time I ran the whole thing, and so I'm looking at the numbers that I'm getting.
When you say the whole thing, you mean the buffer sizing .py or the buffer sizing sweep?
The sweep.
Okay.
It looks like you're getting some results because you're going through it over. So the sweep thing, it runs it like a number of different times, right?
Yeah, the sweep, right? The sweep tries different flow values from 1 all the way up to 400, I think.
Yeah, 453. So look at this. Why are we trying? 445. Connections are 2. So this is actually looking not too bad. When you're at low numbers, like you have 2 connections, your numbers should end up being high. And then when that connection starts getting bigger, that number should drop down drastically.
Well, why are your rates so low?
Oh yeah, that's bad.
Look at your median rate, 36.
It's probably because you're streaming to all us people. We're actually causing your experiment to go into the ground. Sorry about that. I mean, isn't that true? Isn't it the more that computer works, the more those rates are going to be off?
Yes. I never saw the rates drop this dramatically though. But then again, video conferencing takes a lot.
Yeah.
As we can see from him being booted.
Yeah. Okay, well.
You want to take a peek at yours?
Yeah, I just got to the point where I actually got it to run all the way through. In fact, I just tried running buffer sizing, and I was surprised to see that I had an error in buffer sizing sweep. So that was while we were talking, because I haven't touched that code.
What the hell is that?
I have no idea. So I'm just about to go in and look. Let's see. So now I'm set. Oh, there it is, right at the beginning. Do you guys have that in your version?
Yep.
Huh. I wonder why that's thrown an error.
And you did sudo?
Oh, maybe I didn't. Hang on. Let me go back to my terminal.
And
That's definitely the first question to ask. Did you do sudo? Yeah, I sure did. Sudo python buffer sizing sweep.sh.
could you just try? Oh, sudo. I don't think that's right. I don't think you need Python. No, you don't need Python.
Ah, okay.
Because this is a shell script, so get rid of Python and just do a ./. And you gotta get rid of the space.
Yeah, the space.
Oh, well, that's exciting.
Well, I guess we said this was going to take 5 minutes.
I'm trying to remember how long it took. Let me just run it again. Oh, that might be a good test anyway. All right, let's see.
And to actually look at the graphs, you have to what computer is it stored on? One of the hosts, or where is it actually stored when you do the web server?
It's actually stored on the virtual machine itself.
So C.
Well, it's the virtual machine.
Oh, I see.
Sort of like the machine that all of this virtual networking stuff is running on top of.
Right. I'm going to mute myself while the dogs are barking.
So when you start the server, you should start it on, you're going to start the server, like if you just open up another shell window, you'd start the server on that same thing, and then you just go to that place. You'd just go to that IP. So I'm still getting, like, in the range of 62-ish.
Okay, now you're just showing off. Interestingly enough, wow, I get 33 as well.
I get in the range of 62, but my Q numbers are all always 2. It's always 2.
Your Q number is always 2 when you get out of the binary search?
Yeah.
I think that's right.
Well, at the end that seems right, but not when I'm just doing a flow. One flow from each A and B, right? 2 flow total.
Yes.
Should be high. Even then, it's at 2. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that should be higher.
So I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I've tried everything. I've changed delay. I've changed rates. Changed the way I started the senders.
You're always getting. So you found the most optimal network. I think that's what it is.
Right. So and my binary search looked just like what you were showing with Joe, what we were doing with Joe.
Yeah.
Except I didn't do the minuses, right?
Boy, my reference rate sucks.
That's really low. The only two places that I really know where I've made any significant code changes were in the create topology, like when we were creating the network, and in the and that tiny little binary search function.
Yeah, right. Well, when you're starting the receiver,
the start senders,
and senders.
Well, the start receiver, that's
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. I don't think it's possible to screw that up, you know.
Hey now.
Start senders. I've tried all kinds of different things with start senders too.
Can you show it?
Yeah.
I'd be curious.
I don't know what
While
that's.
Will's machine is chugging away.
Yep. Okay, I've relinquished the.
You have, okay.
Yep.
Grab this. Code window. This is probably gonna have to resize it. Large vertical screen.
Sorry about that, guys. My internet went out.
Yeah, we noticed. All right, can you see that, John?
No, not yet.
Now, did you see, when you clicked that green button, did you see another dialog box that showed up and said, what window do you want to share?
Yeah.
Okay.
I see a blue head.
Maybe I did the wrong. I'm just gonna do my desktop. That's what I did last time. How about now? You see anything now?
Still a blue head.
No. Shows that I'm showing it down in
Hey, by the way, while we have this break, Joe, when I logged off last night, were you guys able to stay connected?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep,
great.
We're good.
Okay, good.
So you still don't see my screen? Nobody sees my.
No, unfortunately, there's even a little icon that says you are sharing it.
It says I am sharing, but nothing's showing up.
Yeah.
It worked yesterday when I shared, right? Try it again.
Yeah, the only thing that I've ever seen that may cause that is sometimes that dialog box that comes up after you press the share button. Sometimes the second dialog box comes up under another screen, but besides that, I don't know.
I'm really laggy over here too, so it might be my fault.
Where's your high bandwidth now?
Well, that's still up at 62. It's not done yet though.
Damn it! Oh, speaking of which, I need to check mine. Oh, still going.
It's kind of funny. I hear your voice and then I see your reaction.
Oh. Yeah, speaking of laggy.
So still just the blue head?
Yeah. Do you want to paste the your start senders code right into the chat thing on the right?
Okay. All right, well, you'll see all kinds of stuff commented out. That's stuff I had tried. Okay, where is the chat window? Right there. I think that's gonna look.
Hey, by the way, Scott, I just saw the email you sent. Asked me if there was a session going on.
Yeah, I couldn't. That was my fault. You just ignore me.
Oh, was it?
Sometimes-
Well, let me tell you, I'm concerned about people not being able to get on because my inbox gets flooded.
Yeah, well, I was looking at the wrong email, so I didn't see an invite because I wasn't looking in the correct.
Okay.
I wasn't looking in my Gmail account. I was looking in my GA Tech account.
Got it. Well, tomorrow I'm going to try using the Google Plus Hangout method because that's sort of what Ben recommended, but I had a lot of problems with that initially. Ooh, something just came up.
Hey, do you get the could not find S1-ETH0 whatever error?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Early on, I was getting that a lot. Yeah.
But not any longer?
No. You're still getting that?
No. What's what is this? So in your start senders line, the 1, 2, 3, 4 flows equals argn flows times num hosts minus 1 and all that divided by 2. What does that come out to be?
Where are we looking at?
Wow, I can't
The
see
flows?
that at all.
The flows? Oh, that comes out to be. That's just to split the flows between the two.
So we actually don't
It's
want
just-
to do that. That's where I ran into a lot of problems with that because at first, if you read the assignment, it sounds like you're supposed to take 200 flows and start 100 flows on A and 100 flows on B. But that's actually wrong. You have to start 200 flows on A and 200 flows on B for a total of 400.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
that was.
Well, a parameter that we pass in when we call the buffer sizing .pi, that parameter for n flows, whatever that is doubled for my flows.
Oh.
I see someone scream.
Yeah, I think that's Scott's.
Yeah, it says I'm still sharing.
Yeah,
You can see something now?
it's tough. Yes, it's tough to see. It looks like it's in not portrait mode, but like I see the almost as if it was standing up on end.
Yeah, all right, here,
Do you have a?
Oh, there we go.
You have your monitor turned on the side?
Yeah, here, let me resize this.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay, so if args.nflows is 200 and numhosts is 3 minus 1 is 2.
Yeah, this comes out to be, because numhost is 3, right? I just copied and pasted this from some other method that was in there.
Right. But
So
this
you're right, this is totally not necessary. This is just,
But what would this actually be? This would be. Oh yeah, that is okay because that comes out to be 200 anyway,
it's just args n flow.
right? All right, good. That's why you were not. If you were actually splitting it in half, that's when you would get that that not found error that's repeated.
Oh,
I spent like 2 hours trying to go through that. That was.
Yeah, I think I had that problem. And then I went to this and everything was fine.
All right, let's see.
I think what I was doing at first, I was doing args n flows divided by 2.
Yes, that's what I was doing at first too, and then
Yeah.
that's. Anyway.
So then I just copied this, and then it worked.
All right.
But effectively, this is just args n flows, right?
Right. All right. So for J in X range of flows, and flows is going to be 200, right?
Now, just by the way, this is the latest thing. This is the last thing I tried a few hours ago. But what I had been trying mostly before is that all down here. Right. Do you see right here? I did this. See right this little code right here, and this little code right here. The interesting thing is I found this argument, this -p argument.
Right.
And if you pass it the number of flows, it'll just do it. It'll start all those flows.
Oh, nice.
So you don't even
Oh
have
wait,
to.
no, you can't do that.
But then I was like, well, maybe that's the problem. So then I went back to, because originally I had this loop, right? Here was my original. I did this, and I was like, that's not working. I'm not getting these twos every time. And I tried this, and I tried a different way.
Did you get that from the iPerf man page?
Where did I get? You mean this latest thing here?
No, the dash P. Where'd you find that?
Yeah, it was an iPerf command. It was the command reference somewhere online.
Okay.
iPerf user doc. Yeah.
Okay.
And receiver C, that's your third host, which is the receiver at the 62 whatever bandwidth.
Yes.
And
Yes.
A and B are both at a gig bandwidth.
Yes. You want me to look at my configuration for the topo?
Okay.
So the host config I defined here, or the link config.
Yes.
Right, the host that was passed in is 1,000.
Right.
And I used link 1, my link config 1 on both A and B here.
Okay.
Right, and link 2. And see, here's that loss 0 again.
You know, I just copied this from assignment 2.
Assignment
I guess.
2, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. When I couldn't get it, I tried to do that too, where I started with assignment 2.
Yeah.
And then, I run into a lot of problems. So I said, you know what, I'm going to forget everything that I learned in assignment 2 and just read assignment 3. And I just took the line that they had in here, I think. I forget where I got it from. Anyway, this here looks right? Because you have
Delay is right here.
Interesting.
See, did you run into that delay problem that who was talking about that? Maurice. Maurice.
No, I set the delay for both of them to be the same, which was the self.delay.
So you use self dot, not args dot?
Right.
Yeah, I tried that at first.
Where's my thing? Host self.
Oh yeah.
All of my variables, everything that I'm setting in the create topology is all referencing self. I hope. I lost this.
Well, when I verify the bandwidth and I verify the latency, everything looks right. So there's values in these args. It's getting set right.
Yeah. Let's see. Low index -1.
Self is.
You want me to go back down to
Yeah, I'm looking over your start senders thing again.
You can
Oh,
find
you know what? I copied and pasted it right from the chat
Oh, okay.
to an
Oh.
editor, so I can jump
Okay.
around real quick. This is interesting. Let me show you what my
Okay.
my start senders looks like.
Okay, let me shut mine down. Okay, just shut mine down.
Okay. Now I've never done this before, so bear with me. Oh, that button there. Oh. It's gotta be that one. Is that it?
Yep, I see it. Oh,
I see the icon that you're sharing. It hasn't showed up on the screen yet. Seems to be delayed sometimes though.
Okay.
I see it.
You see it?
Yep,
Yep.
got it.
So
There you go.
this is the entirety of the
Yeah.
of my start senders thing.
Yeah.
Now,
Oh, wait. Let me see.
yep.
Sorry.
So
Oh, so you okay? I was curious about the text file, but I guess you just. I guess that's just a throwaway file,
Yeah, the thing with the text file is that they have to be different. So
Right.
one of my very first problems was that I had just named one file, and I was using it in both of these, and that just made it not run. Like it looked like it was running, but you know what?
because it was
I
trying
think
to.
I was getting two. What do you have up here for the file?
what do I have?
No, because you're looping over this. This is your output file here, right?
Is this what I sent you? This is my star centers, right?
Yeah, this is all your start senders right here.
Yeah. Okay. Sender. I call it sender B, sender A, and sender B. So it's two different file names.
This is the file name here.
Yeah.
I
But-
lose track of it.
Well, but
Yeah, the second.
you don't make them specific. You don't have like a % I or anything like that to differentiate every time it goes through. Or am I missing that?
No, he's in there. See the
Yeah, this guy here.
Where?
iPerf, yeah, iPerf. He's %S, and then the
Oh,
last
yeah.
one is J,
Well,
which is.
oh yeah,
Calendar.
yep.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's a different file name each time.
Mhm.
iPerf S.
It should be iPerf underscore sender A underscore whatever the J is.
5%D, and that's going to be a number. So yeah, and you do see like 200 files in that test folder, right?
Well, you know what? I have not run it other than just one flow. I've just been doing the one flow because I want to see it do something other than a 2. You know what I mean? I want to see a high number. I'll know I'm on the right path when I see a high min Q for the target.
Yeah.
So I haven't.
Why don't you put a number like 10 in and see if you get 10 files? Because I had this problem too,
Okay.
and I had a result of 2 as well. Well, of course, that was before. Yeah, shit. I guess that was just an accident, to tell you the truth, because I didn't even run it from the buffer sizing sweep.
So this is how I did it.
I mean, yours definitely looks simpler, right? You just go through the flows.
Well, right. So the idea is this here
But it
is
looks
the number of flows that we want. Since we're starting from 1, we have to add 1 to the end because that'll give me like the 200 or whatever.
Yeah.
And so on node A, I'm calling iPerf, and on node B, I'm calling iPerf, and I'm just doing that 200 times.
Right. And your command looks pretty much the same as mine, right? -I1, -YC, -Z. Z, you pass in the args congestion algorithm.
You know what? Honestly, I'd never even looked at this command. I just copied and pasted it directly from to do right above it. So I guess now,
Okay.
like this over here, we had to fix because it was like an output file, and this over here I had to fix because this was like I didn't have this object created the first time, so then I just created it up here. But
Well, you have something different. You're using something different than what's up. Unless is that my stuff?
yeah, this is all your stuff here.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. Let me go find it. So this here is the original.
Okay.
And let me show you this so I can see it. So we have %S-C, %S-P, %S-T, %D-I1, YC, Z, S, greater than, SS, and %. Yeah. And then custom iPerf, receiver IP 5001 seconds, ARMS, COM. args dir and then output file.
Okay, I made the one change where instead of delay of 0 in that, I put the same delay, and now I'm up to 6 or 7.
Oh, excellent.
So getting higher.
Nice.
But it seems like it should be up around 100 when you do it like 1 or 2 or 3.
Yeah, when I did 1, wait, where's my graph? Oh, I guess this would be around just over 300. Can you see this screen here?
No, I think you're only sharing that one window with your code.
Oh, how do I?
So when you unshare your screen, then share it again, but select desktop.
All right, desktop, full screen. Here we go. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. So this is when you're at a really low rate over here.
Yeah, right. This is what I want. This is what I want to get.
For flow of 1. Yeah, it was like 315. That was the number. All right, let me. Okay. So, did you run it with both of these loops? Because there are 2 loops here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So flows is the 200. So here you're actually starting up double the amount, right? Or no? No, because you're running it one at a time.
One at a time.
Now, when they had said the round robin thing, was that in start senders?
I believe so, yes. I think the round robin is just that you're bouncing between A and B. So it's not so round as a linear. You're just going back and forth between those two.
Okay, let me try that.
I'm just trying to think, why would that... I mean, there has to be a reason, right? Because they explicitly said to do it that way. But
Yeah,
why
start
would...
A, start 1 in A, start 1 in B, then go back to A, B, A, B, A, B, right?
Yeah, for any
I'm not doing that. Yeah. I don't think I did that even the other time.
Oh.
I don't think I've ever done that. Let me try that. Let me try that. I think that's...
So this is what it looks like when we're in Google Hangouts as well.
What?
This is the one that I kicked off before.
Oh, yeah. And I think, I noticed that on my video that I am lagging significantly, and I think that's because I'm recording the session. I think my computer is all out right now.
All right, let me... I hate that. How do I cancel this? Oh, there we go.
Hey, I found myself in an infinite loop. The constant that we vary to at least see if it works is the start BW fraction, right?
Correct.
Okay.
that queue size I keep thinking about. The queue size was that was the main part of the like this whole test, right? Because we were supposed to have 2 pipes that had a bandwidth of a gig, and 1 pipe that had a bandwidth of 62.5 megs.
Mm-hmm.
So I bet by changing those, you're skewing your numbers.
And changing those.
Yeah, changing them where?
When you're doing the create topology,
Yeah.
just there. Are those? I mean, those were set properly.
Let me see.
Can
Here.
one of you show the code just so that?
Yeah, I'll show you again.
Okay.
You want me to show mine, John? That's what you're talking about.
Sure.
Yeah. Can you guys see it yet?
Not yet.
Okay, by the way, I changed it to just do 1 loop in my send receivers, like you're doing, John, and now it's up to 8.
Progress.
You're gonna get there 1 packet at a time.
Well, I like quadrupled where I was.
So that's a significant improvement.
It should go on your resume. No dice on Sharon though, unfortunately. Whoa.
You don't see my...
No. Although I see your code in the chat room. Although I guess that's not the right part.
Yeah, here, let me just do the same thing, and I'll just cut and paste, create topology function.
Hmm. Woof.
Okay, I'll just put that in there.
Okay. So where are you seeing the link config changed, John?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's not. Oh, let's see. Link config.
Guys, I actually have to drop. Are we gonna do the same time tomorrow?
That works for me. Although, I guess Manish's office hours are tomorrow. Anyone going to join?
Well, isn't that at 5 Eastern?
Oh yeah, I guess that's right. Okay, that works.
Okay, cool. Take care, guys.
Okay, see you, Joe.
Okay.
Thank you, Joe.
Three, 6, 7.
So you don't have a queue on the receiver.
Yeah, the max Q. I had that on there earlier. I did take that off.
Well, we've got a quadruple improvement here, right? So throw that back in and see what happens.
Yeah. Right.
You're adding. I mean, everything else looks right. What does the loss mean?
I think that's like a percent loss, like how many packets are lost. That's a
Yeah.
parameter for
Yeah, like packets that are
loss.
just thrown away.
And I think it's a percentage. I think if you put a 10 in there, it'd be 10% packet loss.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find that.
So by putting 0, are you being optimistic or forceful? Like, are you saying, I prefer not to lose any, or you're saying, don't lose any?
I don't know, but you know what? Maybe I should just take it out and go with whatever the default is. You know what I mean? I don't know what the default is. I just, like I said, I just copied that. I think it would be worthwhile to just remove it. I'm gonna try that as well. I guess I was assuming the default was 0, so I didn't even pay attention to that one.
Everything else here seems right. It's right. What's the CPU value that you're passing?
I just do self CPU.
Is it 1? Like, that's not on the command line, is it?
Is it on the command line? Let's see. Bandwidth is there. Delay. No, I don't think it is.
So if it's not, what's the default? That would be here. It's none. So the default would be none. So setting a CPU of none, what would that do?
Well, how did you do your host config?
I didn't even use it.
So how did you, when you added a host, you just added host and that was it?
Add host stage 1.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
I'm going to try that too.
Yeah, because when I was looking at this, I had realized that everything that we're trying to set is actually being set on the link, not the host. So when I was looking through all of the options that you can configure with a host, none of it seemed important. So I just got rid of them all. And then I found out that you can create a host without any config file at all. And so then that made things a little bit easier.
Try that. looks like the same thing. Let me ask you this, John. When you spit out the median measured calibration rates,
Mhm.
what is your reference rate and standard deviation?
Let me see.
That's a good damn question.
Reference rate median, 62.490.
Okay.
Max was 62.523, and standard deviation was 0.666.
See, here's the thing. I think my standard deviation is always so low. It's
The
always
standard-
like
That's
my standard deviation is always like 0.03, 0.02, 0.01.
That means you're always getting the same rate.
Yeah.
Why would you always be getting the same rate? Why would you? So what is your rates coming out at now?
Okay, so my median rate is 62.467.
Oh, good.
Max rate of 62.509.
Okay.
But standard deviation is 0.031.
Let me see my other ones. Oh, no. So the one before that, standard deviation 0.063.
Okay.
The one before that, 0.071. 0.017. And then 0.234. So I think that sounds like it might be okay.
Yeah. Okay, well now my min Q is 9.
Oh, hey, that's still we're still stepping up, right?
For 2 flows.
For 2 flows?
Yeah, for 2, right, 1 from each.
Oh, I need that long string.
So, and that was doing it without the host, without that host config file.
All right, what's next? So let's take a look at your binary search function. We didn't see that yet.
Yeah, right, yeah, I think that's next. You guys can still not see my screen?
no, Scott. Can you send it over to John, at least so we can follow along, or I can follow along.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Here, let's do it. Let me shut my screen shit down. I'll paste I'll paste that whole do sweep method.
Okay.
Okay, there it is.
You see my screen?
I do.
Okay.
Where does do sweep start to do binary search?
Oh, wow. Out of curiosity, what is the different
Can't read
font?
this.
What's the different font on Self Signify?
I don't know.
Huh.
Could you paste your do sweep in again? I needed to break it because I can't. It's all squished and I can't read it.
Whoa.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, that's the. I was clicking on the Hangouts. I was seeing my screen. Yeah, I'm an idiot, right?
We all have our idiot moments.
That's for sure.
You know what? Let me create a new thing. How do I? There we go. Oh, come on. I'm afraid to paste this in because it's big. Let me do it down here.
Do you want me to just why don't you just do the binary search part from the
There you
to-do?
go. Now just keep it at the bottom. That's fine.
Okay.
All right. So all of this stuff here is the stuff that
Yeah, I didn't touch.
that's the normal stuff, right? So then
Right.
here is the real stuff. No, this is the
No,
real stuff.
I didn't touch that either. I didn't touch that either. Just from the to-do comment below, I didn't touch that.
Oh, that's the end of what I see.
Oh, that's it? Oh, jeez. You didn't get the important part.
Oh, I'm like, huh? And where is the?
Let me just paste. I don't know if it was like maybe too long of a message or something.
Maybe. Oh wait, let me. Oh, the space right. Okay.
I'm just gonna put from to-do down.
Perfect. Oh, that's not like. Come on. As I used to do. Paste. Oh, that's better. All right. So this is where we begin. And let me get this. Okay. So we're setting the cue for the mid.
Where's the oak? Oh, there it is.
The med rate is the median of the get rates. The fraction is that median divided by, so what's this guy here?
That's the reference rate. Well, like before, you remember we were talking before when Joe was on, you know, he had the reference rate and you had him change it to the args.bwnet, which is what I had before. I mean, I'll switch mine back. I meant to do that.
So that gives us a fraction. And if that fraction is okay, right, that means it's to the right. And if it's not, it's to the left. Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty simple, right? I mean,
My only question is, and this is something that I don't actually know. When you do that division, is fract by default a float?
yes. Yeah, I mean, I spit it out too, and it's. I see that next print line.
Oh yeah. That's good to know. I just, I have old habits. I cast everything.
Mm-hmm.
But this.
So I'll cast it. Let me do that.
I'm sorry?
I'll cast it. So you cast on each. You just cast 2 floats and then divide the 2 floats. You
No, I just do
cast
it.
one. I'm sorry. Let me look at yours. What was yours? Oh,
You see, I don't know why this would make that big of a difference, because reference rate is the median of the rates through the calibration step. So it's going to be close to the number. It just might be less than, it might be a smaller number.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very close.
So what would that mean? If the calibration rate was less than the maximum, you could potentially, I guess that would actually reduce your queue size, right? Because it would be easier to get above a 98% utilization.
Yeah. Can you go back to your code on this?
Yeah.
I just wanted to see.
There we go.
Set Q, you get the rates, then you get the median. Yeah. Yeah, it's the same. Right. Oh, I changed it to cast. See, it's still going down. Excuse me. Yeah, it's still going to be down there low. I can see it. Keeps lowering the max. Right, it's always okay. It's always above 98.98.
Huh.
So now it went down to 6.
And that's for an inflow of something small, right?
Yeah, inflow of 1.
Eh.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, when you say down to 6, what are you referring to?
The Q, the min Q
Oh.
for the target. You know, when it finishes doing all that binary
Right.
looping, and it decides what the minimum
Got it.
Q size should be. I don't know, man. I don't know what else to try. I've been can't tell you. Plus all the time I'm taking up here in the study session.
And you're running this by running that sudo python command, right?
Yeah, right. I just do sudo python on the buffer size.
Do you want to read to me the parameters that you're passing in?
Dash BW host of 1000. Dash BW net of 62.5. Dash delay of 43.5. Dash directory of test. Dash inflows of 1. And an iperf patch. Yeah, the iperf patched.
And are you using the delay?
Yeah, I'm using that delay in the arg. In the arg's delay, yeah. And I when I check my latency, verify latency, I look, see what the delay is. And it's using the 43.5 for each link.
What else could it be?
Actually, Scott, why don't you email John your buffer sizing .py file, and then he can actually run it there.
Oh, there you go. Then we can see if it's your VM.
Ah, right.
See, now that's a smart man right there.
Okay. What's your email, Sean?
Here, I'll type it in.
Okay, just sent it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Alright, so we have your code now. This is yours, right? Yeah, this is yours. Alright, let me push this up to the VM. And then, you need to see the screen here, so. Okay. New desktop. Okay, we can edit that. Alright, do you see my screen?
Yep.
Mhm.
Alright, so now I'll have to select 3. And we get rid of this. And end flows is going to be 2. Connections 4. Did you hear my drum roll?
Yes.
Wow.
Right there, you got a larger standard deviation than I've ever gotten.
We're still getting smaller.
Yeah, it's still getting smaller. Yeah, it's still getting smaller.
We always okay. And 4.
Or
That's not good. So, just,
so can you run yours? And I want
Yeah.
to watch the output of what
Yeah, I'm
yours-
curious too.
um, whose file am I looking at? Scott's?
Scott's, yeah. I love that. Ty dot good. Ty dot Scott.
And there's something similar that went through my head.
There's a good one, and then there's Scott's.
Well, this is good. We can see if the output's going to be the same too. So it's still doing 4 connections. This thing up. Okay, 227. Oh, it goes to the right. 227, then 114, then 57, then 85. 71. Oh, there we go. 71 to 78. Oh, then up to 81.
So it'll be about in the 80s.
Alright, so it was 85 was the answer.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's see up here. Alright, creating nodes, we add the switch. Configuring hosts. Adding links, 62.5 megabit. 62.5. Receiver C to switch 1. Receiver C. So this is my receiver. So 62.5, 43.5. Right, so that's the same. It's setting up the same links. A gig and 43.5. A gig and 43.5. Switch to sender A. A gig 43.5. A gig 43.5. Well, mine went from H1 to the host to the switch. You're going from the switch
To the host. Somewhere I read that makes a difference. Results.
Huh.
So can we go look at your topo?
Yeah, let me see. I think I can open this. Oh, there we go. So where is that going to be? That's going to be in the start sender, right?
No, your topology?
It's in the topology. Alright, so here's my link. Wait, let me start.
Oh.
I really had to. I commented this thoroughly because I really needed to understand what was happening because I spent so long trying to figure out how it works. So I had the switch. I had host 1 and host 2, which are the senders. I then had the third host, which is the receiver. I grab some of the variables, and then I do the sender to the switch, the sender to the switch, the receiver to the switch. So everything is going to the switch. So here's yours. The sender to the switch, the sender to the switch, and the receiver to the switch. Sender to the switch, sender switch, receiver switch. So that's in the same order.
Okay, what about your adding of the hosts?
Add host, I add sender A first.
Yeah.
Wait, let me see. I add the switch. I add host 1, I add host 2. So here you add the switch, you add host 1, you add host 2. I add host 3. You add host 3. And then here are the links. Right. Right after that, I do the links. Here's the link. I link up the first host to the switch. First host to the switch, sender A is sender A. That variable matches. Using link config 1, which is this guy here, which is the host. It's the 43.5. And then host B to the switch, which is your sender B to the switch using the same link. Using the same link sender config. And then finally the receiver to the switch. Finally the receiver to the switch. So why is the output different?
Yeah, why is the output the opposite way? about starting the receiver?
All right, let's see where this is actually happening. So no, this happens way up top. So this is in the heading of the links. Right. So here's I added the 3 hosts. Here's I added the switch, and then here's I added the links to the switch.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing I notice is different here, and I don't know if this makes a difference or not, but you see how mine is printing 62.5 Mbit and 43.5 ms?
Uh-huh.
I did notice that yours is printing no ms.
Right.
I don't know why that would make a difference.
No, it might. But mine's running mbit. Where do you put? Can I look at when you call sudo python buffer sizing?
Yes, but look here. This is that the same order? Receiver C, then sender A and sender B, and then host 1, host 2, host 3. So host 3 is my receiver, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And
So why is everything seems to be backwards?
So
this is yours.
it's saying something adding the receiver first.
But you're not. You're adding it third.
Yeah.
Self.add host, self.add host, self.add host. And then adding the link, adding the link, adding the link. Huh. Alright, what did you want to see?
What did I want to see? Your send. I just want to see your send receivers real quick.
Send receivers.
I want to make sure it's on par.
It's send receiver. Send underscore receiver. Start receiver. Here we go.
Sorry. Start. Can you select it because it's.
Yeah, surprisingly, bolding does not help on this side.
It helps on this side.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised earlier.
Okay, so just dash S this. Yeah, it's the same.
I can split this, can I?
It's the same.
I guess there's no way I can see both at the same time. Oh, I can. Oh, look at this. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Good old Eclipse.
Start receiver. Start sender. Start receiver. Start receiver. Right. Receiver C. Port is 5001. Yeah, there's nothing here. Dash S, dash P, blah blah blah. Start sender. Start receiver. Now, they're called in the same order, right?
Yeah, you mean in main? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Why are we sleeping?
I was having a problem with command with that .cmd,
Oh, okay.
and then I put that one in, put that sleep with a millisecond.
And it.
And it was fine. I might have a problem with my file.
range of flows. Starting vicinity flows. Starting two flows. Sender A flow 0, sender B flow 0, sender A flow 1, sender B flow 1. That's 4 flows. A, B, A, B. Oh, so I want to see, why does yours not say milliseconds? And why does mine say
Oh,
milliseconds?
right, yeah.
So that has to be up here in the topology.
Well, do you pass it in on the command line? Don't you pass your delay in on the command line?
Yeah,
And you use arg's delay. Or you use self.
I use self. Right, this is mine. I'm getting confused as to whose is whose now. The bottom
Yours is
mine.
below.
Yours is good.
Yours is good.
Now. Self. So you're using all the selves too.
Yeah, well, that was just there.
Oh, this is the init. I'm sorry, I'm an idiot.
Yeah, that's the unit.
That's the init as well. Here we go, create topology. Arms. Where's my topology? Okay, here we go. Sender read, but this is all from up here, right? So I set all these little variables here.
Mm-hmm.
So the delay is just self.delay. So delay.
What do you pass in on your command line when you call it?
Whatever. Well, I passed the same thing to
Just
both
the
mine
count.
and yours.
Yeah, okay.
So let me just do this. Let's just see what happens.
All right.
Alright, so this is this one.
You know, it looks like set Q. That fix that Joe put in, or that Joe was talking about earlier, that he had actually hard-coded MS in there. I know that's one place. And it also looks like, oh, you know what, in Star Topo, it adds, oh, I think this is it. Go to the Star Topo, because there's a %s MS. It actually adds MS. So if you use args, you don't get it, but if you use self, you do.
Interesting.
Huh. Alright, let's see what happens.
Oh, phone call. Hang on.
And this is for 2 flows. Let's see what happens.
I don't see where you're seeing where that adds it. Where's it added?
In the it's actually the code that they wrote. It's right after star topo. Do you see where delay %s ms? It actually appends ms to the end of delay.
I have that.
You see it right here?
Do you see it on yours?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
on
look,
it's
it's
on
all
both.
In the main. Oh, in main. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Gotcha. I was looking.
Oh, wouldn't that be funny? Well, I mean, if the delay, if 43.5 delay was like defaulted to like minutes or something,
Yeah.
then you're gonna have all the throughput in the world, right?
Yeah.
Because if it's taking you so long to send another packet.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. 227, 114. Come on, go up.
Come on, baby.
Yeah.
57. Come on, up. Go up.
Yes.
Get out of here. Oh, that's awesome.
Nice work, you guys.
Oh,
That's some top-notch sleuthing. That damn MS.
Wow.
Isn't that funny?
The
That's
self.
not very funny.
for this.
When I started reading about Python, I just remembered, and I remember thinking about why I was using the self thing. I remember reading, when I was reading about Python, somewhere it just had said that there was like this whole chapter on why when you create a class or something, you have to pass and use self. I didn't read any of it. I just heard that, and I said, all right, I guess self is kind of important for whatever reason. So I tried to use it anywhere that I could.
Yes.
Well, there we have it.
There you have it. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, William, what about you? Did you get yours?
Well, I'm going in the wrong direction. If you guys got a minute, I mean, it's kind of late here, but if you guys got a minute, I'd like it if you took a look.
Yeah, I'm free.
Okay, well, let's.
Ah,
Uh-oh.
there we go.
Let me know when you see it. In fact, oh, you know, I just restarted my mini server because I was operating on it. I couldn't get the HTTP server to start.
Oh,
And so I thought, well, correction, when I started it, it gave me an IP address of 0000.
oh, that's okay. That's not the actual IP.
Oh, okay.
Your machine, since you're running the web server on the machine that the web server is on, so by default it's running on quote-unquote local host, which is 10.0.0.0. But in order to access it from an external place, you'd have to access it through the IP.
Ah, okay. Okay, well, let me bring it up here. Give me just a second. Boy, bad timing as far as restarting it, puppy. I've had it running for hours here, so let me get this all going.
Now I'm curious.
About?
What the what that actually was.
What actually was?
That was on the /key. And that is. Sorry, I confuse myself very easily. Star topo.
Let's see.
Star.
Okay. Okay.
Wait, that was on the delay.
Huh. You know, 192.168. Ah. Oh, son of a gun. So DH client E1. Okay.
I don't think I'm going to find the answer to this question.
What's your question?
If you don't include, so delay,
I mean, if you don't include MS, what's the default?
right?
What's the default unit of measure of time measurement?
hmm
Yeah.
So the definition of delay is expressed as a string with units in place, e.g. 5 ms, 100 us, or 1 s. But that's it. That's all that I got.
Huh.
Huh.
Okay, just almost ready here. Sorry about that, gents. Okay. Ah. No. Okay, here we go. And unfortunately, it was going up, not down. Oops, apparently I left it at 200. Let me kill it and make it 2. Actually. Okay. So this is where the badness starts here. And let me bring up my code. Put it off to the side. So basically this Q453, that's where it stays. It will start to converge up to 453.
Why's your reference rate 0.0 right
Yeah, I'm not sure. So
And
let's.
so where is your the binary search?
Yeah, let me find it.
Well, first you have self in your topo.
there?
Yeah. That's a fair question. Looks like yes.
Yes.
Oh, good. Oh, look, you went up.
Oh. Well, that's interesting because it was going to go into to 453 before.
Well, but you're all over the place.
I don't know why your rates are so low.
Well, the standard deviation is 6. That's kind of crazy.
I mean, let me send you this because I am operating on a computer that is really weighed down right now. In fact,
Okay.
the file that's recording, it's already over 3 gigs at this
Oh
point.
my god.
So I mean, it's going. So let me email this to John. Let's see. Oops, apparently you are on. There we go. And and let's see. Okay, sent.
Okay. I think I lost my file.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. No, no, I have this one here. Okay, that's okay. I'll close you.
Okay, you got the screen. You know, if it works on your computer, but it didn't work on mine because we were observing it while it was being tested, this is pretty much proof of Heisenberg's uncertainty principle.
Right. The old Schrodinger's cat.
That's right. The observing the experiment changes it.
Right.
Alright, so I'm gonna bring this down.
That cat is neither dead nor alive until you actually look at it.
Yeah, that's kind of freaky. Alright, where are we? I have to take show my screen. Do you see my screen?
Not yet. Although I do see the little icon that says it's sharing.
Okay. Let me take you.
I am underwhelmed with Google Plus's screen sharing abilities.
It's free.
Yeah, so Skype.
Oh, that's true. Can you share in Skype?
Yeah. Yeah, the only reason I chose Google Plus is because Ben was already doing his stuff in it, so I thought, what the heck.
How many? Can you have 10 on a line though?
Yeah, we've never gotten there. We've gotten close. I've almost had to ask someone to host it elsewhere, but it hasn't happened yet.
You mean on this, on Google Plus?
Yep.
There's a limitation on
Yeah.
how many?
10 people.
But what about Skype? Isn't there a limitation there?
Oh, you know, I don't know.
Because I think that's what's so special about Google Hangouts is that you can do 10 at a time.
Yeah, I know you can do multiple on Skype, but I've never tested to see how many.
Okay, so the standard deviation on your file is 1.457 on my computer.
Huh.
That's really high.
Aw.
But these rates, I mean, I started out in like the 30s, but it's getting up to 62. Oh no, now I'm in the 30s again.
You know, you're not sharing, unfortunately. I don't see it.
Yeah, neither do I.
Alright, let me try and unshare. Oh. Alright, let me try it this way. Let me just try that screen. See it?
Negatory. God, I wonder what happens.
Alright, one more time. Full screen.
Come on, baby. Give me those
Well,
sweet
we hit the
pixels.
target at 227. But yeah, the rates are all over the place.
Hmm.
So, well, let me know if you start seeing my screen. Meanwhile, I'm just gonna kind of look through the code.
Okay.
All right. So where do we start?
Well, I'll bring up mine. Just tell me where you're at.
Okay, I'm looking at the create topology right now.
Okay.
William, this is yours we're looking at right now, right?
That's correct, yes.
So the host bandwidth is supposed to be a gig, right?
Yes.
And so when you're adding your hosts, you're actually setting the bandwidth.
Oh, are you with this?
Yeah.
Right, you see that?
I say do the same thing that John had me do, William. Comment out this host config and don't even pass.
Don't
the
even
host
use
config.
it. Okay.
Yeah. Simple.
Yeah.
Simplify.
Actually, let me get. I like the commenting better, so I can go back and say, "Oh yeah, don't do that."
Mhm.
I just hope that my stuff, it's right. Josh looked at my graphs and he said that that's what they're looking for, but who
Yeah.
knows if it's actually being done properly.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. But
Well, I am consistently getting the same
Right.
data, though, so.
I wonder.
All right, let's see. All right, so we got the hosts, and now we're adding the links. Right, we're adding the links.
It's funny, the topology, when you first start this, you think topology is the easy part. And
Well,
and boy, all fingers end up pointing right towards topology.
well, in all object-oriented, the constructor is always the most important part,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
so, William, you need to take out the. You can't reference that host config
Oh yeah, you're right. Yep.
in your add hosts. Those 3 add hosts.
Yep. Duh. Thanks.
Can you guys see my screen now?
I haven't relinquished mine. Give me
Oh.
just a second.
Oh, look at that. I got that little arrow there too, though. I would say just leave it up, because if neither of you can see mine, but you
Okay.
guys can see yours.
Yeah, that way I could look at yours.
Sounds good.
William.
Okay. And you can call me Will, by the way.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's see. Alright, your fast link is the gigabit bandwidth with delay. Your slow config is the net bandwidth, which is 62.5 with a delay. And here you're setting a queue size. So on the fast links, the fast links should never have a queue. I guess that'd be okay, right?
Yeah, I don't think it would matter if it's in the
I don't
fast.
think it matters. I put mine back in there after we were looking at it.
Yeah.
So,
Alright, but otherwise, everything else here. Oh, what was that? Oh, yes, I'm still here. That was weird. Google Hangouts just beeped at me and asked if I was still here.
Yeah.
I'm really new to all of these things.
Yes. So am I. I have had quite a learning curve. I'm still not positive that I'm sending out invites the correct way. I've been getting some not so nice emails every now and then for people that I just unfortunately didn't get them the message. But
The way that I found this, I just went to my calendar, and the link was right there.
yeah. Yeah, and that people that use Google, it seems to be better, which is why I kind of started pressing people for their Gmail addresses, but some people have given it, some haven't. So that's why I went to this method. It seems to be neutral. Because the people that don't have Gmail, they can just use the email and press the link.
Mhm.
Whereas I think the Google Hangout method, I think you have to have a Gmail account to be reliably notified.
right. Yeah, that's been my experience.
And we all know how popular Google Plus is.
Right.
Everyone's got an account.
Okay, so your topo looks good now.
Okay.
Can you go down and scroll? What are you looking at now, John? Are you down in his do sweep?
Yeah.
Okay, can you scroll down to your do sweep?
So we're setting the Q. What's that? What's n samples times 2?
Where are you?
Oh, you're talking about the rate, the get rates.
Yeah, take that out because it'll use the default if you just pass iFace.
Well, actually, for the get rates. Oh no, that's right. You just want to use the default
Okay.
because you're setting the Q in the setQ function.
Oh, of course. Of course.
All right, what's next? And then rates. Rates is equal to rates of n samples. So I don't think that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need that. You're like,
Right, because you're looking for the specific rate, which in this case is going to be the median rate,
Oh,
Yeah,
which
okay.
is in the next.
so you're like reassigning rates right there.
Yeah.
When you got rates.
That's
and then you-
that's probably just a barnacle.
Oh, but you know what? Maybe that's why the numbers were so sporadic.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm. Okay, so then median rates. That looks right. Median rate.
And you don't actually need the average rate.
Yeah.
So what I figured they did here, you know what to do. They say you may use the helper function setQ get rates average, median,
Right.
and OK.
Uh-huh.
Right.
So you actually have the choice between average and median because in either case you need an aggregate. You need to
Right.
aggregate all of those rates. And so I
Right.
think this was your opportunity to tell them why median is better than average or vice versa.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we have, median rate divided by args. All right, so I'm going to mimic what you did in your code over there.
Okay.
So I think that's all right. And then if
Yeah.
it's okay, then we're shrinking it that way. And if it's not, we're shrinking it that way. Good. And let me get back up to the top. And you got rid of these here. So what does your topo look like now?
I changed the config for the hosts. So I got rid of, basically I got rid of host config and all the references for H1, H2, and H3.
Okay.
But everything else is the same, except that I added the max queue size back in for fast
I'm
link.
going to leave that out,
Okay.
and I'm going to rerun it and see if that makes any difference. Alright, so let's see what happens. Alright, this is on flow of 2.
I can't remember. Can we see your screen, or are we looking at mine now?
You're still looking at yours.
Okay.
I can try and take it if
Although you know what, John, I see. Look, I see. I think I see John.
No, that's definitely me, because I
That's you.
get infinite window when I look at Google Plus.
Okay, so William, you're running it too.
Yeah. Although I thought I only did 4, not 8.
I'm running it in a white window. Will's
Okay.
running it in a black window.
Black window. Okay.
Why's it got to be black with you guys? Oh, and of course my bandwidth fraction is the 0.3
Oh, okay.
still.
But this looks a lot better. The standard deviation now is 0.5.
Hmm.
That's a lot better than the 1.6 from before, right?
Yeah, my standard deviation is 8.
Wow. 8.
Did you save it and upload it?
Yes.
Will? You did.
Yeah, I think it's because my computer's chugging. I got a lot going on here.
So after this completes, because we're starting to focus, and now you're going to be in the 200 somewhere. I'm going to add the max Q back to the I don't know. I'm just going to keep calling it the constructor, but back to the constructor.
Okay.
And see if we get a different experience here.
Yeah.
All right. So your target was 223. If you're interested.
Okay.
For a what? A 1 or a 2?
That was for 2. For inflows of 2. All right. Now let's see. All right. So with the max Q set, let's see. The median was 62.3, the max was 62.5, standard deviation was 0.5. So now we're going to do this with a max Q set on all of them. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, first one, standard deviation of 10. Yeah, I think she's struggling. She's doing her best. She's like, I got this. I can record. I can do MiniNet. No problem.
Well, this is interesting. So I set the max Q, and the standard deviation now is 1.
Huh. Well, let me take it off on mine and see if that makes a difference. If it goes from 10 to 9.
So that's only in the. Where did I take it off? I took it off. I added this to the fast link config.
Right.
What is that called? A directory? Dictionary?
I think that's dictionary because it relates strings to values.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much the same.
Well, I still ended up around the same place. The target was in the 220s. It's interesting that the standard deviation was so different, though. Do it again.
Now in this run, I changed my bandwidth fraction to 0.9.
Oh, the 0.98?
Or no, 0.9, the starting bandwidth fraction, not the other one. What the heck is that one called? Not the target.
Oh, it was 0.9. I see.
Yeah. I don't know if that makes a difference. That was me trying to get through the loops earlier.
Oh, okay. So with that max Q still set, so I just redid the same thing that I just finished. The standard deviation is now back down to 0.5.
Okay. Let's see, let me get the
Yeah, now we're at 270 was the target. That's
So I'm kind of curious what crappy ass graphs were made earlier.
Hmm?
I'm looking at my the web server and seeing the graphs that were made earlier. Although, what are they stored in?
They're in those folders, but
Nice.
No, you're missing the main one.
yeah,
Is this it?
the main one is up at the root. Go up.
Oh.
Yeah, your main one should be right in here.
Oh.
Result. Yeah, it looks like it.
No, not. It looks like the when you ran the full test, it didn't complete. So
I think
pull
it's-
up one of the directories with the date
The date.
timestamp on it.
Yeah.
So in here, you're supposed to have. No, go back to the other one that had more than one N thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
at
go
that
to
level.
the latest one.
At that level, you should see.
The latest is.
Stay right here.
Right here, you should see a results dot
Oh.
king, I think.
But also, you should also see. So, what that's showing you there, the numbers, the NF, that's actually the number of flows that it was testing.
Ah.
So you went through the test of 1 flow, 2 flows, 5 flows, 10 flows, and 50 flows.
Got it.
You're missing.
Yeah, and actually, I had to
200.
and I had to stop at 100 specifically because I had 91 out of 100 connections, and it just was doing that countdown of the
Oh, yeah.
300 seconds or whatever. So I killed it. Okay, well that makes sense.
But now, I think you should be able to do it.
Yeah.
So the last time I switched your fraction back to 0.9 from 0.3, and now you're hitting at the target for 2 flows is 397. So let me change this to 200 now. Oh, you're running the whole thing, is that right?
I am not. I'm just doing the buffer sizing.
Oh, the one.
Yeah, I wanted to see what numbers came out in comparison with yours. And I am getting, keeps right around the 30s.
Yeah. But you're still your computer must be just bogged down right now because it's
Yeah.
really all over the place.
Yeah, in fact, there are plenty of things that I can close here. Well, maybe not plenty. I think the recording is probably 90% of it. Because even my video is lagging, and it typically doesn't.
It seems like you could turn the recording off by now.
Well, maybe. It's one of those things where having a document, you can say, "Hey, go check this out."
Yeah.
I'm just gonna stick it up on YouTube, where I'm sure it'll get ignored, but who knows? Getting help for
listen to 2.5 hours of our
Right.
babbling back and forth.
Right.
Yeah, I figured it's probably better as a reference to say, "Oh yeah, what did Scott do that one time?" And then
Right.
I
Right.
think I would just ask Scott.
Yeah, until it's until it's midnight on Thursday, or I guess Friday, where you're like, crap.
I think you're going to be done before then.
Yeah. Let's just say that I'm all about covering my bases right now, because I saw that getting help was going to be rough. In fact, I'm afraid that we're going to lose Cody. She's struggling, and she and I have been talking back and forth, and I'm going to do my best to at least get her halfway there. Like I feel it would be a sin for anyone to drop out for the OMSCS students, specifically because I don't think they're ready for us. Like I think the TAs and the professors, they're learning right along with us.
Right. I agree. I mean, I think we're the guinea pigs.
Yes.
So it would be a shame for anybody to drop out. You can't really put it on yourself.
Oh yeah.
I mean, take for example this assignment. All the problems.
Yep.
Outside of the fact that we didn't know what we were doing, but just the bug. There were a few bugs that someone found.
Yep.
There were VM problems.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
when I actually talked to the professor about the VM, and he had said that he's used the same VM and the same assignment for thousands of students.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I mean, you see that this is part of an undergraduate course at Stanford. So,
Mm-hmm.
I think that I think the problems that we're seeing is probably something that's happened before. It's
Yeah.
just because we're all distant, it makes it a little bit.
Yeah.
You feel stranded.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
'Cause, I mean, I sort of felt the same way, where you don't really have any place to kind of like turn to say, I need help.
Yep. Well, that's why I started these sessions, because I knew there were other people that were going, "Oh crap! What do I do now?"
Right.
This is definitely a great thing.
Right. No, these sessions are invaluable. I think. I mean,
Yeah.
I was lying on my couch thinking, damn, I can't get into this session tonight. What am I going to do? I've tried everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you know what? I didn't check my Gmail account. I was only looking at my Georgia Tech. And I came over here, and there you guys were.
Yeah. Well, if you guys ever get Cody, COTY, if you ever get her online, she needs help. And she's smart enough, there's no question, but she doesn't yet have programming debug skills. Like I'm not familiar with Python, but I've programmed enough in C to at least have I need to put a couple variables here, I need to put a break here, kind of get it along the way. And
What's her background?
She got an IT background. I think that's what her undergrad is I can't remember, like IT infrastructure or something like that. And she actually started talking to one of the managers for the course. I think her name is Becky. To find out about what possibilities are out there of dropping or stuff like that. And
Is she taking more than one course, or just this one?
no, just this one.
Uh-huh.
And I guess the worst thing is I am absolutely ignoring the lectures. Like I haven't touched Udacity since I realized that the assignments were all of the grade and all of the work. And that's a shame. Like I want to get in, like I want to watch them, but I feel like it's wasting time on the important thing, which is the 10% for each assignment. So
I know I stopped watching these. I stopped watching the videos and everything when I started working on this assignment.
Yep.
Just because I figured, we have to do this before we move on.
That's right.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I've watched all the way up. I'm kind of just going in order. I watched all the way up until the assignment. But
Yep, me too.
Like John, I haven't gone back since this assignment. This assignment's taken way longer than I expected.
Yeah, the next one. So I finished after I got this and I got those charts. I wanted to kind of like, leave it to test it a little bit more, but then I figured let me just submit it and move on, just to be done with this. And I went through assignment 4 and I went through assignment 5, and the next two they weren't nearly as hard as this.
Really? Okay.
Right.
But you know what? It's not even that this one is very hard. This one was just hard to figure out all the little quirks of
This-
Mininet and Python.
yep,
like
this-
I've never even seen Python before.
Yep.
Right. Well, I think this one has our Python learning curve embedded in it, right? Those
Yeah.
who aren't familiar with Python. Plus, there's also the getting familiar with the VM and all that shit.
hmm
So I think this particular assignment has the most difficulty because of the learning curve.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you do just need to sit down and bash your head against a computer for
Yeah.
a day or two and learn the
Yeah.
quirks. You just that's the
Exactly.
requirements.
I know, it's just part of the
Yeah,
part of the job
that's
description.
the pain there.
Yeah. Where do you guys live in the country?
I'm in Jersey.
I'm in Chicago.
Oh, okay. I'm in Raleigh.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my dad lives in Cary.
Oh, okay.
Where's Raleigh?
North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
The capital of North Carolina.
Yes. I work in New York City, which is not the capital of New York.
It is not. I would think that maybe Albany would be the capital there. So you don't commute over. Where in New Jersey do you live? You don't live over off of the Washington, that bridge that was all jammed up.
No. I live I guess I'm sort of like in the middle of Jersey, along the East Coast.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, the commute isn't too bad. I work right in Midtown,
Uh-huh.
so it's basically right where the New Jersey buses go into.
Oh, sweet.
Uh-huh.
And so I sit on a bus for an hour, and then I walk 10 minutes to my building.
Okay. And then an hour back.
Yeah.
So at least you're using public transportation, right? So you have time to
Yeah, that makes a
to
difference.
yourself. Yeah.
hmm Although this whole week, because of the snow, I've just basically worked from home.
Oh yeah, you guys got pummeled. I actually had to
Yeah.
get I got a hotel last night because I couldn't drive home. I ended up staying at work after we got off the call yesterday. I stayed at work, and
So you work. Where do you work in Chicago?
yeah, just outside. Actually, it's funny. I live maybe a block or two from the Sears Tower, and I actually commute out of the city.
Oh, you commute the opposite direction.
Yeah, so it's kind of nice because I don't have the traffic, but
Right.
I would prefer to be downtown. Anyway, so I just stayed at work to do the call, and I ended up leaving at like 10 or 11, because I was working on the code. And I opened the door, and it's a winter wonderland, and and I ended up having to get a hotel because I just couldn't drive home.
Wow.
So I think I'm in an infinite loop here.
Yeah, why is this not stopping?
Yeah, I think if we were to look at it, it's because this is just so far away from the starting bandwidth fraction of 0.9 that there's just no way that this 38 can get 90% of the args dot. What is it?
Yeah, that's true. Because you're just gonna keep trying
I'm gonna keep
until you get there.
And I think it's because I'm on I think you would have to run it to see if it converged.
Yeah, well, it already is over here.
Yeah, Will, maybe you should just shut all your stuff down, stop the recording, and
Yeah, that's what I'll do.
see if there's a diff. See if there's a difference.
Okay.
Yeah, because you can see that before, at least, you were getting some throughputs of like in the 60s.
Yep.
So I think when you you should reboot everything.
Yeah.
Only turn on the minimum stuff. I think it'll be fine.
Okay. Gentlemen, have a good night.
Okay, you guys, thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
All right, take care, guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Scott.
Bye.
Bye.